Hey, you guys, it's me, Kianna, coming at you tonight, and it actually is almost 10 o'clock at night. I actually just got back from a viewing. I had a grandmother figure. It's my mother's best friend that she's known all her life, even when she was a little girl. Um, Her mom. So, my mother's best friend mom. And they've known me since before I was even conceived. So, she has certainly been a grandmother figure in my life. Her name is Miss Lois, and Miss Lois lived to be 86 years old. So, um, so I went to her viewing today. I actually got there before the family even got there, and I assisted um, in any way I could. So, and then it's amazing. Unexpectedly, I had gotten information that I don't know how long you guys have been watching my channel, but a lot of you guys have been watching me for the 3.5 years I've been on YouTube. So many of you guys have heard the story that I told that um, when I had my daycare center, it was two children that I was really attached to. Their mother and father actually became my closest friends. Actually, my ex-husband and I's closest friends. And their names was Elaine and Everett. Well, Elaine actually came to me when she actually had the baby boy in her belly, to make sure she lined up because my daycare center was in like really high demand. So she had lined it up, making sure securing her space in my daycare center when she was still pregnant. So literally, when she came home from the hospital and went back to work, I basically had that baby. Not basically, I had that baby boy and his older brother Cameron. I had that baby boy since literally he was born. And Elaine and Everett was in the military. So I'm saying all that to say that when they got called out to Iraq at the time, Elaine and Everett got called out. Um, I went ahead and I had power of attorney over the children. So they actually lived with us, us being my ex-husband and I. They actually lived with us for I think about 6 months. So just got information that Everett, who has remarried since, I think he's been remarried for about 4 years now, but Everett passed away. Um, yeah, Everett passed away, and I actually found out a couple of days ago. Um, and I found out like within an hour after he passed. And and then Miss Lois passed a couple of days after that. And you guys know that one of my closest friends from the shelter, Keith, he died too, not too long ago. So it's just been a lot. It's just been a lot. Um, it really has been. Everett was, I think Everett was 40, seemingly healthy. Um, yeah. And now his wife, who's only about 39, 40 years old, is now a widow. When you just sit down and think about, we so busy and we so busy with the hustle and the bustle that we all go through. Um, so busy with work, you know, um, finding our passions in life, um, having ups and downs with our spouses, raising our children, trying to better ourselves as women, as mothers, as wives, just overall as ladies. And it just really makes you reflect. And I really, really want to not be one of those type of people that just reflect for a moment and then we soon forget that moment that we were reflecting on. Once the mourning phase leaves and once we're back up again, you know, we sometimes forget. And it's not so much as we forget, sometimes we just ignore it. But I really, in the midst of our silliness, our little drama that we go through, little, just in comparison, when we really, really think about and meditate on, in comparison, you guys, it's just, they're not so important things. We really realize how it really doesn't matter at all. And I'm not as down as I was when I experienced um, Keith's death. Not because I wasn't as close with the other people, because actually I was closer with Miss Lois, of course, being that I've known her all my life. I mean, literally, she used to hold me when I was in my diapers. So it's not that I wasn't as close. And Everett was like a brother to me. I mean, my God, I helped raise his children. But I've learned to not just mourn, but to take something away from it and to actually apply it to my life and to come out of the situation, with a new level of knowledge, with a better understanding of what actually is important and what's not, with a new level of appreciation. Um, so where I don't just mourn now, I actually learn from my mourning. I actually learn from the life and death of the one who's no longer here. And as I sat in the viewing room, I thought about, you know, all the things that Miss Lois at 85 years old has experienced in her lifetime. And they had this beautiful, um, it had a really big flat screen TV in the viewing room. And it actually played a slideshow, a picture slideshow of, her all her life. And I remember chuckling a little bit over Miss Lois had chicken legs. And I told her daughter, which is my mom's best friend, I said, look at her in those yellow shorts on the slideshow. I said, her legs looking just like yours. And she laughed a little because my mother's best friend, her name is Monica. Monica has chicken legs too, just like her mother had. But as I looked over this slideshow, looked over her life, I thought about all the pain, all the happiness, all the joys that she probably had experienced in those long 85 years. And then I just thought about some of the things that went on in my life, the things that I thought was so big turned out to be not so big. I thought was so important turned out to be not important at all. And how much energy I've given those things over my almost 40 years. And how silly it is. Because you come to a place and hopefully you make it to 85 years old. And you come to a place at 85 years old and you look back on those things and you say, that didn't even matter. I gave that so much energy, so much of my time, so much of my efforts. It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you are loved and that you gave love. What matters is that your legacy was a great one. What matters is the times that you laughed and couldn't stop. What matters is the times that you smiled until your face hurt. What matters is when you scolded your grandchildren and they were like, Grandma is something else. What matters is that you impacted people's lives. That's what matters. I appreciate her giving me that gift through her death on being able to reflect and being able to look at her life, her legacy, her joys, and a little of her pains probably, and to try to apply those things as lessons to my own life. I hope that this video encourages you to reflect as well. And although you didn't know Miss Lois, although you didn't know Keith, although you didn't know Everatt, I hope that their legacy is able to impact you and to reflect on what matters in your life and to let your legacy be a great one. I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all for being with me during this moment. I thank you all for allowing me to share and finding value in that of which I do. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.